Hello and good morning. Guten Morgen from Berlin on this January 1st, 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a very nice New Year's Eve. Welcome to Watch Adventures. I'm JK, and for this first video on the channel today, I chose a rather peculiar watch. It's a combination of a digital and analog watch. Let me show you. Here's the watch face, focus. There we go. We have a jumping hour and a rotating minute wheel. We have a sweep second, and we have a calendar down here, a calendar complication. This watch is not running at the moment, so I guess we'll assemble it and find out what is going on with it, what's the problem with it, and let's see how to fix it. When I did some research into this watch, and especially into the manufacturer, I couldn't find too much information about it. Actually, there were only a few pictures of other watches showing up. One thing is sure, this Wilson watch company has never been a watch manufacturer. So they only used movements of other manufacturers. When I had a look into the very valuable watch movement archive at Dr. Ranft's website, there was not too much showing up. There's a feature where you can search for watch movements by simply checking a few boxes of what features the watch has. In this case, a digital watch face and a calendar complication and a sweep second hand. And if I remember correctly, there were only about 10 options or so coming up what kind of movement might be in this watch. So I'm rather curious what it is that is actually in here. I haven't opened up the watch yet. I saw kind of a blurry image of the inside, so I have kind of an idea what it looks like, but yeah, we'll have to see what we will find inside. Okay, let's have a look. I showed you the front, the watch face. As you can see, the crystal is cracked, so that has to be addressed. On the back, we will find this stainless steel back, base metal bezel, Swiss made and 1387C. You can see the case is in, for the age, kind of good condition. There's a little bit of wear here where the crown is and here where the lugs are, but otherwise it's decent still for the age. It is probably a watch from around the late 1960s. So with the movement inside later on, when we have a look at the movement, we might be able to further date this watch. Okay, I think that's it so far. We should gear up and have a look inside. Let's get this back. And show you the watch face in a little bit greater detail in this view. Let's get some finger cuts here. these on. Finger cuts on the left hand here. Since I'm right-handed, we'll use these to touch the watch movement later on, so it is secure and we don't get too much finger grease on the watch parts here. Okay, so let's open this up. Let's see, get this out of the way. There's a slit here that you can get the case knife in. There we go. And the back is rather loose, so yeah, it's easy to get that off. Let's see. We open it up. Oops. Come on. There we go. So just a plain watch back, no markings inside. But now the movement. Okay, interesting. It's a rather simple movement. Wilson watch marked 17 joules, unadjusted. Okay. And it is kind of an interesting escapement, as we can see here, because it's not a Swiss lever escapement, but a pin escapement, a pin lever escapement. Let's see if I can show you this right now. Yeah, here in the middle you can see the pin with the two pins there and there. Okay, so this is a kind of basic watch movement with just a pin lever. All right, let's uncase this. You can see the crack here on the side. We'll have to address that. But now the face, interestingly, it says down here Swiss made and T, which means tritium, but there is no lume on this dial and there is no lume on the hand, so where is the tritium? Interesting. As you might have seen from the description, this is a non-runner, so the watch is fully wound at the moment, but as you could see, the balance isn't moving, and there is, when I pull the crown, there's a movement here on the dial. The minute wheel is moving, And there's also movement in the date. If I turn this crown long enough, then the date will flip over. There we go. But as you can see, the jumping hour isn't moving at all. So I have to see why this is and potentially address that too. Okay. Let's get going. First, remove the hand, the one second hand, and then remove the dial and see what's going on under there. We'll cover this up with some foil and then use hand lifters to remove the dial. To remove the hands, sorry. So, let's see. Can get under here. And there we go. Second hand is off. Let's get this away. And let me find a box here. Let's put this in here. To drop the second hand. Actually, let's see. Looks like the second hand has been painted because there's red paint underneath the hand too, not only on the top but underneath too, and it is bent, so that has to be addressed too. Okay, let's get that out of the way first. And see that we can unscrew the two screws here that hold the dial from the front, and then have a look underneath. So let's see. There we go. Oops. And the second one. Okay. All right, let's lift off the dial. See what's underneath. Yeah. Plain dial, no markings. Okay, let's get this aside. here. So we have in the middle here the minute wheel, or the minute indicator, then this is the hour indicator, of course, 12-hour system, and then outside here we have the date indicator. So let's see that we can lift this off. Here we go. There's a gear on the side, on the underside. Looks good. Okay, let's see. We see the mechanism for the date here. All right. Okay, to lift this off this ring, we have to remove these two screws. So let's do that. All right. Second one. And now we can lift this plate. We should be able to do it. We have to be a bit careful because there's a spring underneath here, so that this doesn't fly off. Let's see how we do this. Maybe here. Oops. Okay. And the spring is out too. Here's the spring. This was the cover plate. Let's see. Underneath there is a mechanism. There's a wheel here. Interesting. Oh yeah, this seems to be fixed. Okay, let's continue. This lever here is holding the date in place. Sorry, the hour. And this is stuck, which might be the reason why the hour wasn't moving, why the hour wheel wasn't moving. So, yeah, and there's grease underneath here, as you can see, old lubrication, which was the reason why the hour wheel was not moving. Let's get this off. Or maybe we get the hour ring off first. There we go. Get this away. And now we can remove this lever. Okay, let's see. There's still no movement here, but there's also quite a lot of movement in the balance, so it's probably either a jewel displaced or a pivot broken. We'll have a look at that later. Let's get the date ring off. There's again 3 screws this time. 1, 2, 3. Let's remove these. It's a bit too large. Oops. So, okay. The third one was shorter. This one is shorter than the other 2. All right. So let's lift off this plate. As you can see, there's a lot of lubrication here. And we also have to be careful with this spring here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's get this out of the way. So we go. A cover plate for the date mechanism came off. There's this thin spring underneath here. Okay. And let's take the date wheel off. Let me show you this in a bit more detail. There's this date star here that is revolving with this wheel and then in turn pushing the date forward. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. And this star, there's also old lubrication underneath here. Well, this has to be cleaned anyway. Okay. Get this out of the way. Okay, we can now lift off the hour wheel. Quite some oil here. Let's see. Okay, and now we have the movement markings here. It says BFG 866. So that's a Baumgartner movement reference 866. And that's one of the movements that showed up from the Runft website when I searched for information about possible movements inside the watch. Usually this movement, the BFG 866, has only one jewel, which is this one here, this one, and all the other pivots are just resting in bushings. So this is kind of the fancy version of this movement. There's such a thing, with a lot of jewels, 17 all in all. Okay. Nothing obvious to see here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let's get a movement holder out. this in a holder. And have a look again at the balance. You can see it is moving quite a bit here. Let me show you that under the microscope. Yeah. There should not be that much play here. So I'll have to see what that is. Let me turn this around. And let's release the power first from the mainspring, because this movement is fully wound. So let's release the power. Move this click away here. Oops. It released its okay. There's no power left. The crown didn't move. All right. Good. So first let's remove the balance so that this part is safe. And then have a look at the pivots and see what's going on there, if there's a pivot broken or maybe a jewel cracked or something. It's not so easy to lift the balance off because there's not really... Oh, there we go. All right. Let's turn this over and have a look at the pivots. Actually, the pivot looks okay on the underside. So that's not the reason why there was so much play. have to look elsewhere. Let's put this aside first. Check out the rest. Let's see what's going on down here. Oh. That is the reason why there's so much play. This main plate down here is worn in one spot, as you can see. Here, the pivot hole is oval shaped. And that is probably the reason why the balance wasn't moving. Let's see if the palette fork is free. Yeah. Put a little bit of wind in the watch. Okay, we see that there is movement. There is some motion in the movement, but I'd assume it's old lubrication that makes this rather sticky and the movement not functioning. Okay, let's remove the power again and continue with the disassembly. Okay, I guess next we remove the pallet cock here. See. Old lubrication, but otherwise jewel looking good. And now we can remove the pin lever. So I have a closer look at this construction, which is something that is not so common in wristwatches, but rather in old alarm clocks, in large old alarm clocks, and is basically a cheaper version of the Swiss lever escapement. These pins here, they're easily worn, but in this movement they still look good. So let's continue. Let's remove the ratchet wheel, the crown wheel. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. This is a little bit magnetic. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see the play in the barrel, how that looks. That's too much play. Old lubrication here. But there's too much play in a barrel that needs to be addressed. All right. So everything else is under this large bridge here. There's 1, 2 more screws, and then the bridge can be lifted off, and we'll see what's underneath. Okay. Let's remove the crown first. All right. And then continue with the bridge. So you have this screw first that holds the click spring in place and functions is one of the main screws for this train bridge as well. Number one, number two. There we go. Now the click can be lifted away. And we should be able to move off the bridge here. Slowly comes off. There we go. That's the bridge. Let's have a look at the jewels quickly. Yeah, old lubrication. Otherwise, okay. And now, the main part of the movement, the train. All right. Let's lift up the barrel here. As you can see, there's a wheel attached under here. Not sure is this. Riveted on, or no, it looks like some kind of, I don't know if you can see that. It looks like there's some kind of a lacquer here. That has been used to there. That has been used to fix the upper wheel to the barrel. Yeah. Is this lacquer here too? Or is this lubrication? Let me see. Now it looks like it is the same material. Interesting. Oh, that's just old grease here. Very dirty. Okay. So let's continue with the rest of the train. The escape wheel, as you can see, it has a slightly different shape. The teeth have a slightly different shape than those of a Swiss lever escapement. That is, of course, because they're not running on the pallet, but in this case running on these pins. Also quite dirty, needs to be properly cleaned. See the rest of the wheels. Dirty, but pivots look good. Same here. And this is the center wheel. We have the cannon pinion on the other side. We have to remove that first to get the wheel, the center wheel off. Okay. Let's remove parts of the keyless work here. And we're more or less done on this side. Let's flip this over. Oh yeah. This cannon pinion in this case is not friction fitter, it's just put on top. It was sticky because of the old lubrication. So we should be able to lift out this wheel now, which is the second wheel, or drives the second hand, but it is very sticky. Let's see, we can remove that. Without damaging it. Oh, this is interesting. As you can see, it is sitting here on this post. Well, I haven't seen this kind of construction. I have to figure out how to get this off without damaging it. Might be that this wheel, this second wheel here, is friction fit on the pivot. Guess I have to do some research on that. Yeah. All right, and then there's this last wheel here, this one, that is held in place by this bridge here, and we have to remove that in order to get to that wheel. Let's do this. And these two screws here. Come on. Number one, number two. This one. Also very sticky. Okay, now we should be able to lift away this bridge. After removing the second lever screw, of course. There we go. Second lever fell off. Now we can lift away this bridge. And we can get to this wheel and lift that off too. All right. That was everything on this side. Now there's, on the dial side, still a little bit of the keyless works left. Meaning this lever here. There's one screw. Let's unscrew this. Okay, then we can remove that part. And that's it. Disassembly is done. I still have to do research on how to remove this wheel, whether this is friction fit, whether the wheel is friction fit, and how to remove the pinion here in the middle. Sorry, the pivot, of course. Yeah, disassembly done. The main problem is this very worn, let me zoom in. this very worn part here, where the balance wheel is resting in. So this has to be addressed. Before the movement will run again, and I think the only way to do this is probably to change the main plate. I'll have to see when I remove the shock system. Oops. When I remove the shock system, how it looks underneath here. But it's very likely that the main plate is too worn to be repaired. And that it needs to be swapped for a new one, a different one. One that isn't worn like this. All right. I guess that's it for today. Cleaning is to be done, and then the assembly of that movement is for another stream. Thank you so much for watching for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.